Guys, welcome back to my channel and to another video. This video we'll be climbing back onto the old girl. Let me just show you her. And the old girl in question is my trusty steed. She's a 2001 2.8 Isuzu diesel turbo, and she's been having some issues with the front suspension, so I bought the lower and upper ball joints. And I'm planning on changing them. I've been hearing some funny creaking noises from the suspension, so hence I'm going to change them, because these buckers are actually prone for these things to collapse and leave you stranded. Yeah, so it actually happened to me a few years ago when the lower ball joint collapsed at the shopping center, and I was standing in the middle of the street and couldn't go anywhere. So I do believe that these buckies are actually prone for ball joint failures. And when that happened, let me just show you quickly. Yeah, like I was saying, when that happened, this wheel obviously collapsed. This hit the body and dented this fender quite significantly here. I just pushed it out roughly. I don't know if you can see, I don't know if you can see the waves and dents there. I just pushed this out roughly and to get it going again. So this will be the first time that I'm actually replacing all 4 ball joints, and I'll take you on that journey. Hopefully, yeah, like I said, hopefully those of you who own these type of vehicles and haven't gone through this trauma of having a ball joint failure on you, don't wish that upon you. Actually, it's not a good experience. But I'll take you on the journey, show you the spanners that's needed, what bolts must be loosened, and yeah, let's just see what happens. Okay, enjoy this video. Okay, so these are the 2 ball joints that I must change. This is the upper and this is the lower. And if I look at the upper, I can see the rubber's torn there on the side. Don't know if you can see it, but it's actually torn there. So yeah, it's good that I'm actually checking that out. And this bottom one here, the rubber's all loose and a bit crusty. Yeah. So yeah, maybe the ball joint is a little bit damaged on the inside. Once it's off, I can actually test it. You know, like move it around and see what's going on there. Okay, let me just get that side's wheel off and get that up and all that kinds of stuff. And let's just check that side out. Okay, so this is the passenger side that's off, and if I look, you can distinctly see there that the rubber is broken and she's all wet. And the bottom one seems dry and the rubber seems okay, because this was the one that I changed when I mentioned that it failed on me a few years ago. I don't know if you noticed on that side, this boot was actually quite wet and it was actually broken, so yeah, something's definitely going on that side. I'm going to take this off and see what they like, but you can see that one definitely a little bit suspect, and you can see the ball is at a funny angle. Anyway, I'm going to take that off now and that off now, and let's see what's going on here. Okay, so for this job you'll be needing 13 spanners here. 13 maybe a 13 socket and a ratchet. And then of course this bolt, this nut here must get loosened, and that's a 22. So the first thing I'll do is I think I'll crack this nut here, that nut there. I think I'll crack that one, 22. I'll actually first spray some penetrant and stuff on the thread there just to clean it, maybe just a wire brush that thread a little bit and spray a little bit of penetrant on top, and let that work its magic. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so I wire brush this as you saw, and I wire brush the bottom nut. I never recorded that because it was a bit awkward getting in there with the wire brush, but that's all brushed up, and let's take this off now. Okay, so these are removed, as you can see. They're actually nuts and bolts. I actually thought it was just a nut on the side, so I needed a ratchet or something, you know, and a spanner. So I got them off. This one got some tension on. These came out relatively easy. This one got some tension on. So I'm assuming it's the weight of this trying to push down. Because like I said, I've never done this before. And what I do know is 9 out of 10 times suspensions tend to want to push downwards. So I'm actually going to take the trolley jack, stick it under here somewhere, and jack up just to see if this nut gets relieved to get that out. Then I'll probably have to give this a smack here, or jack this up, you know, like jack this up here and smack there. I'll have to figure something out and to get this out. So all right guys, so yeah, I got this top ball joint out. You can see it's quite torn there, and if I move it about, she is relatively loose, you know, so I think that could also explain the vague feeling that I got when I was steering, and maybe the cracking noise, I'm assuming. So anyway, to get this out, I obviously loosened up these M8 bolts on top here, bolt and nut, loosen that. Actually, I first loosened this nut here. So I suppose one could loosen it till it's like halfway down or whatever, or take it completely off. Then I loosened these 4 bolts. I took this jack and I took this bar and I stuck it on the jack and pushed up like that on here, you know, pushed this up on the jack. And once I had a bit of load on there, I used the 4-pound hammer, and where is this thing, and I used this drift. Initially you can see the marks there where I hit, so I put it like that, and I gave it, I think, about 2 smacks, and then it jumped off the taper here. And then just jack this slightly up to get off some load off the ball joint here, and then I took it out. So anyway, so this is the ball joint. So let's check if the supply supplied me with the correct one. All right, this is the supplied one, and just eyeballing it, she seems to be correct. And if I put it like that next to each other, and then she seems to be correct. So I don't think I'll have an issue with this. I'm actually going to take it out of the plastic now, because like I said, I think it's correct, and just check the holes out. Okay, just looking down in the holes. Yeah, she seems okay. All right, so I'm happy with that. I'm not actually going to install it, as fun as what it sounds. I'm quite keen to get that side's lower joint off before the shop closes so that I can take it back to change should it be wrong. Okay, so this is this side now. Let me just put this flash on here quickly. So there you can see why the reason why I want to take this driver side one off, because as I showed you early on, this is quite wet, and this rubber seal is quite hard and perished on top there. So in order to loosen this, I'll have to take these two, here's 4 nuts and bolts here underneath here. I don't know if you can see it. Let me just take this flash off again. Okay, I think I can see it better now. It's that 4 there. This 2 here goes through this bar here. You know, I think you call this an anti-tram bar, I'm not sure. And then these is just mounted to this lower control arm there. So yeah, let me just get the spanners and I'll tell you what they are, and let's start loosening this off. Okay, so with this one, I loosened off that castle nut. I removed the split pin, loosened off that castle nut, and then I put the jack underneath the ball joint, and I jacked it up to relieve the downward forces, and I'm going to start loosening up the bottom. Alright, so I got that 4 bolts out at the bottom. That castle nut is loose. I put the jack underneath the hub here and I jacked it up to relieve some of the downward forces. And I'm going to take, where is that drift of mine? This thing. And I'm going to put it in like that. And I'm going to smack it on top with a 4-pound hammer, which should shock that loose, and then I'm going to take it out. Okay, there's one. This is the bottom ball joint that I took off here. I'll explain in a minute how I got it off. You can see this one she was quite bad actually. Yes, hardly. And I mean, this is just flopping around here. So very good thing that I changed this one, because I think these are the ones that are prone to breakage. But I think my supplier supplied me with the wrong one, and we'll probably have to go and change it. We'll have to go and change it. Let me just take the new one out and make a quick comparison. Okay guys, so I took this top ball joint off as well here. This is it here. She was torn on that side there, and the ball also felt relatively loose, not much resistance, relatively loose, so she was worn out already. So it's all sealed still, and when you can distinctly see that it's incorrect. I mean, look at that compared to that. So I'll be washing my hands and going to the shops. Okay, so I just got back from the shops and they exchanged the incorrect part with the correct part, as you can see there. Oops. That's definitely the correct part. And I got myself some brake shoes, brake pads also, because when I was busy working I noticed that my brake pads was quite thin. I don't know, let me just put this light on. Yeah, there you can see how far this plunger is out also. You can see it's running quite close to the brake disc, so that means there's not much pad there, so I'm going to change that at the same time. Okay, let's start. Okay, so I'm not going to film me assembling this those ball joints, just like I didn't really film me dismantling it, because I can tell you something, that if I had to film, I would have still been taking these things apart. It's a bit awkward working solo because I am all alone here, so I must move the camera from one angle to the next angle, then I must, you know, if you want to get the proper shots in. So I really don't have time for that. I must get the job done. So I'll just assemble it, and I'll show you the completed job. Okay, let me carry on. Okay, so being an aftermarket part, she doesn't seem to fit in this section where it must go in here. So I've been filing it, you can see here, paint is off. Been filing it at the back there. Not exactly parallel, so I've been filing it at the back there. I'm going to take some more, I have to take some more off here to get it in there. She seems to be just under 0.5 millimeter bigger because I've been measuring it with the vernier calipers. So I'm going to take some more off until I get it in there. Alright, I eventually managed to get this in. The file took a little bit long, so I brought out the grinder to do the job. Anyway, so that's in now. It's worth noting that 2 of the holes on this thing is threaded and 2 has through bolts. So the 2 back ones are threaded and then the 2 front ones are through bolts. So I'm going to stick these bolts in loosely now. Then I'm going to stick it on to put the ball joint in. Stick this one on loosely in here. And once everything's assembled, then I'm going to tighten up. Alright, so that is all in. I got the 4 bolts in. That 2 on top there and that 2 at the bottom. I don't know if you can see them there. They're not tight. They're not tight at all. They're just loose. I kind of just clean this area of here where the head of the nuts are going to sit. That's nice and clean. Clean at the bottom. So I'm going to stick this one in loosely. Once everything's in loosely, then I'm going to button it up. Okay, that's all buttoned up now, guys. Everything is tight. That's tight. The nut at the back is tight. See, I opened up the split pin. The bottom nut is tight. That split pin is open. And all of this is tight underneath here. So that's job done here. But I'd like to just correct myself. Earlier on I said these were 13 millimeters. But when I was working, I noticed that it wasn't like the best fit. These are actually half inch nuts here. 13 mil at the bottom, but half-inch nuts on top. So that's a bit of a correction there. Anyway, this side is done. I think I'm going to do the pads on this side now, which I'm not going to really film. And then I'm going to go to the other side. Okay, job done. This is all tightened. The bottom is all tightened. The new pads are in. You can see the new shims or whatever you call that stuff, springs. This is the old ones that came out. The new pads are in, as you can see there. These are the old ones. You can see there was a bit of life in them, you know, but I mean I was busy, so why not change them? So okay, this side is done. I'm going to put the wheel back on and drop it down. Alright guys, so that's it. The job is done. The wheels are back on. She's on the ground. Then obviously it took me a good few hours. I'd say you can set yourself easily, I don't know, easily 6 hours or something like this to do this job with all the tools. But what I also done, besides doing the brake pads that was extra, I also changed this. These bushes here. Because if you watched my previous videos on working on the cars, you can recall that they supplied me the incorrect bushes, and it took me quite a while to get the correct ones. So I eventually got the correct ones and I changed them. Let me just show you the old parts quickly. Okay, so these are the old parts. This is the lower ball joint driver side. This is the top ball joint driver side. These are the brake pads that I changed. You can see there was a little bit of life in, but not a, I'd probably say 6 months. This is passenger side ball joint, lower ball joint. This is the one that I changed, and when I had the breakdown, this is the passenger side top one. You can see that is quite bad. This is the passenger side brake pads. Also you can see about probably 6 months worth of wear. And then these are the bushes that I changed on the leaf springs. So yeah, that's all job done. Okay, so that is my trusty steed sorted out again. I took it for a spin. She actually drives quite nice. The steering is nice and positive, because like I said before, there was a bit of vagueness in the steering. I could feel a bit of vagueness, so everything's nice and firm again. So I'll end this video here, guys. So if you liked it, you can give us a thumbs up and hit the notification button and stuff. There'll be some more content on this bucky. I'm going to do the rear engine seals. I will be taking out the gearbox and stuff. So there'll be that content, and I'll walk you through that process. But until then, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers for now.